Here we are again on another Monday night. In fact, the last Monday night of June. We've worked them all. We said we would from the very beginning. So we've held that. There's only a few items on the agenda tonight that for some action. With official comments, there will be some comments from the board members. There are no public comments. So I didn't put that on the agenda, but we will have an update on what happened Saturday with our fireworks. So we'll have an update from Parks and Rec and from our fire marshal on exactly what decisions were made on Saturday and why they were made on Saturday. Because there's been a lot of discussion ever since Saturday about the fireworks that happened Saturday night. I usually call it the good, the bad, and the ugly. So we're going to explain it, let everybody know why the decision was made the way it was. And then we're going to talk about Charter Day. That's coming up Saturday. We got the parade on Saturday. Anybody know what the heat index is going to be? We're going to talk about that too. So we're going to zip through a few new business items and get those cleared out. And then we're going to go into official comments with some discussion as we wrap up tonight. So hopefully we'll have some decisions that will be made. And then, oh yeah, and let's not forget, we got to talk about next year too. We might throw that one in there too. Fireworks for next year. All right, I'm going to call a meeting to order. Please stand for Pledge of Allegiance to honor the 250th birthday of our great nation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. I have a motion approval of agenda.
Motion to approve agenda.
Second. All in favor? Seeing none opposed, agenda is approved. Before I go into new business, Commissioner Marley is not with us tonight because he is actually sitting in meetings in Hope County. He emailed the board and he called me earlier today to let me know that that's where he will be tonight. So that's why Commissioner Marley's not here. Commissioner Mitchell is not here. He is in Florida, and I think that's family related. That's where he is tonight. So we still have a quorum, but I wanted to make sure that everyone knew exactly where Commissioner Marley and Commissioner Mitchell are, and they both expressed that they are very supportive of whatever action that the board takes on these agenda action items tonight, that they're in full support. So they wanted the board to know that, and I'm just letting the public know it too. All right, first item, new business, item A, consideration and approval of closed session minutes. That's June 1st, 2026, no attachments. All in favor? Seeing none opposed?
Excuse me, Mayor. You need your first and second.
Oh, I did get a first and a second, did I? That ain't a motion? All right, did I get a second?
Second.
Now, all in favor? All right, I'm jumping. Item B, approval of walking trail repair contract and bid approval from Carolina Construction of Fayetteville, Inc., and to allow the town manager to execute the contract under tab 1. Beth, you have it?
I have it. Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. So this hasn't changed from last Monday when we presented. The low bidder is still Carolina Construction of Fayetteville Incorporated, and they basically, the construction administration folks, to include our attorney, agreed that their numbers were not wrong and they are still the lowest bidder that we received. They just had, their numbers were not included in their unit costs. They had some additional numbers, which the total is still the total, which is the $281,570. So what the ask is tonight is that the board approve the low bidder as our selected contractor, which means we will issue a notice of award to them, and that will allow them to go ahead and begin construction. The project is fully funded, and any leftover monies will go back into the Stormwater Reserve Fund, which is where they came from. And I will take any questions from you guys if you have anything.
Does the board have any questions?
No. she
Okay,
answered
everybody
all my
good?
questions Friday, yeah.
All right, do I have a motion to approve the walking trail repair contract and bid approval from Carolina Construction of Fayetteville, Inc., and to allow the town manager to execute the contract?
Mayor? Make a motion to approve the walking trail repair contract and bid approval from Carolina Construction of Fayetteville, Inc., and to allow the town manager to execute the contract.
Second? All in favor? Seeing none opposed?
Thank you all.
Okay, you got it, Beth. Item C, consideration and approval of Resolution R 2026-010, Hope Mills Personnel Policy Updates under Tab 2. This one's for you, Leanne.
I put the final updates on the dais for all of you, along with a updated list of the changes. There are about 20 more changes that were made since the last. Nothing substantial, mostly just recommendations from the board. But do you guys have questions now that you've had more time to look at it? I'm very happy with it. It's a pretty good, solid document, so.
I will say that the document has been reviewed by Dan. I talked to Dan on the phone today. He's not here tonight. I have him available by phone if we need him, but I didn't want him to drive all the way down here for a couple items that he's already reviewed, already submitted his comments, and he definitely is in approval of it, unless the board has any additional questions. No, that was my question. So Dan's already stamped it, so it's good to go, unless the board has questions. So do I have action? Have a motion?
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolution R 2026-010, Hope Mills Personnel Policy Updates.
Second?
Second.
Have a motion, have a second. All in favor? Seeing none opposed, the motion carries.
Mayor, before we move forward, I would like to point out to the general public that in this policy update that we just made for the personnel policy, there are 16 separate OSA-related regulations added into this that specifically speak to the audit. So I did want to put that in motion, or at least make it a part of the record. Thank you.
There was a follow-up that I wanted to make sure too before I move on to item D, which is the appointment regarding personnel. We discussed at our last Monday meeting when the budget was approved, and just for clarification, that motion passed 4-1 on Monday night for the operating budget for next year. And I know it's in the record. I know it's been clarified, but I wanted to do that on the record tonight that the budget passed 4-1. We also had a discussion thereafter about a hiring freeze for the town effective 1 July. So, and any new positions will be approved by the board. This hiring freeze effective 1 July does not include public safety. It does not include the one maintenance position in Parks and Rec. So I wanted to be clear about that. There's a vacancy in Parks and Rec. It is a maintenance position. This position will probably be associated with the tractor and the cutting apparatus associated with that tractor to take care of that golf course. That was one good action that came out of this budget. Besides, there were others, but that was a good one. So, but everything else, we're going to put a freeze on. And any new positions will require board approval. So with that said, and I think there was another one that that Leanne will begin looking at a step plan for the police department. I believe we discussed that, but that may be a further discussion on down the road a little bit. But I would like to ask the board if someone would make a motion for the hiring freeze and the positions.
Excuse me, Mayor?
Yep.
I'm not sure that this is an appropriate action since we didn't advertise it
Ah.
ahead of time.
I guess you may be right. Maybe I just need to do it as informational. Item D, appointment of Jennifer Hickson to the Homelessness Advisory Committee, tab 3.
Mayor, I make a motion to approve the appointment of Jennifer Hickson to the Homelessness Advisory Committee.
Second? Okay. Have a motion, have a second. All in favor? Seeing none opposed, congratulations. Jennifer, you're on the advisory committee. Okay, that's all in new business. Let's go to 3, which is official comments, staff comments. Let's start with staff comments first. Let's talk about what happened on Saturday night that generated about 400 different comments on social media and a lot of different discussion around town about the decision on the fireworks. So that's why our fire marshal is here, Bobby Carter. That's why the 2 Megans are here from Parks and Rec, so we can clear up, clarify, and explain exactly what happened Saturday night. And I was there, I was at the Hive, in contact with these 3 folks too. Go ahead, Bobby.
Bobby, I'm sorry to interrupt. Hit the button, please.
I'm in service. I'm Bobby Carter, the fire marshal for the town of Hope Mills. And I just wanted to share a few comments about Saturday, the decisions that were made. I'll go ahead and say if there's any blame, I'll be glad to take that. To give an idea of how Saturday went, and these are just my comments that I put on my phone from Saturday night to even this morning, early morning hours. To give an idea of how Saturday went, it went great. I saw people eating, laughing, dancing, and sweating. We, as town staff, had been monitoring the weather all week. Several times, hey, look at the weather Saturday, and there's like 65, 75%. We had made several calls and reached out as of Saturday. We had made several calls, reached out to weather resources that included Fort Bragg Weather Office and the National Weather Service in Raleigh. During these calls and conversations over the course of the day and the current radar that they were using and also updating for the Federal Airport flight path forecast, there was a line of long storms that reached from above Burlington, North Carolina, and extended in a line to southwest of Charlotte. At 1:38 p.m., during the setup time, there were pop-up storms in and around the Hope Mills, Cumberland County area, which is not uncommon at all. We had phone contact with both the weather resources at approximately 3:45 p.m., 3:52 p.m., approximately 6 p.m., and our final call about 7:15 p.m. to try and make sure we were staying on top of what was forecasted that still continued showing that strong, solid storm line moving in from the west with a couple of pop-up storms just ahead of the main line. The meteorologist told us sitting on the phone call that if the main line catches up to those ahead, it would just compound the issue. Based on that information and their input, it was forecasted that timeline showed it would be over our area around 8:17 to 8:30 p.m. time frame, with 8:45 p.m. showing heavy wind and rain based on their data and their information. We felt it was best, or I felt it was best, talked with the mayor, talked with both the Megans, Mr. Morrison, town manager. We were trying to keep them in the loop. We thought it was best to go ahead and shoot the fireworks. Now, these are my thoughts. Was it the ideal time? Absolutely not. But may I share this? It takes many dedicated, hardworking people to make this event happen, and it takes months of planning. The major part of any event will always be life safety, not someone's hurt feelings or disappointment, to include myself. We had the event. Most everyone went home safely to live and complain another day. As we all know, the storms dissipated. We could have stayed with the event as scheduled. We had to make a call, and that's what we did. Do we make mistakes? Oh, yes. Do we need to be reminded about that from anyone? Absolutely not. In fact, I'm sure everyone in this room has made at least one mistake. If you haven't, there's job listings on the town website, even though they're hiring freeze. You're welcome to apply. That's all I have.
Bobby, I thank you for that explanation. I want to add to it because we were in constant contact throughout the entire evening. Now, I've said this before. I don't have a wizard's glass that will tell me exactly what's going to happen at a certain time. We rely on our experts. Not only were we checking this, Fort Bragg was too. They shot theirs off about 8:30. In fact, it started a little bit earlier, maybe 8:20 or so, when they shot theirs off. The main focus, and we realized this early, was not only do we shoot off the fireworks, but the bigger of the two would be the safety of the people that attended the park. You've got to ensure that if you shoot these fireworks off and then 10 minutes later, the bottom falls out and we have a huge rain, how are people going to leave the park? How are they going to leave on the roads? Go ahead, Bobby.
The pyro team that were en route that afternoon, I was on the phone. Lawrence, the technician, the operator, that is the lead operator over the event. We were on the phone. He said, we're already in storms coming that way. He's got 20 plus years of shooting these shows. Actually lost a leg, but he's still shooting the shows. He was concerned about lightning. That could happen. 6 to 10 miles away, you can have an issue. Even as far as 25 miles away, you can have an issue with a lightning strike. What they say, out of the blue, hits you out of the blue, that's exactly what happens. So there's aluminum foil involved out there, there's sulfur involved out there, and it is a field with bombs, fireworks, and we just had to err on the side of safety, which is always going to take precedence over anything, and we made that call, and we thought that was best. And if it happens like that, July 3rd, guess what? I would probably make that same call again, sir.
Yep. I know, because we don't know what the weather's going to look like. You don't know, and you try to give some advance warning. We didn't want people to think that the fireworks, we had changed the time just because of the weather. It was uncertain. It was uncertain. We didn't know. So you always err. You don't want, because we've got staff, we've got people on the field. Even if that lightning comes in, the field's got to be cleared, right, Megan? That field has got to be cleared of people. Go ahead.
I was going to see if y'all can speak to the liability piece
y'all
and the
coming up
parking lot
next.
piece for Bullitt as well.
I was just going to say, all of our advertising for this event that we've done, that we posted on Facebook and all of our social media, it specifically says that regarding fireworks, that we will try everything we can to shoot them off. If that means adjusting the time a little bit to get them shot off. If we canceled, it would have been because it was just a hurricane. And we're not going to cancel something based on a forecast, and that's why the update about the fireworks being shot off at 8 didn't come until 7:30, because we were trying our best to make sure that we stay on schedule, but just get like what Bobby said, and given the situation we were in, we had to make that call. We know it's not ideal. We didn't like it. We didn't want to do it, but again, safety is the most crucial part, and we do advertise that we will make every possible. We're going to get them shot off no matter what, and if we have to adjust the time a little bit, we will. And our rain date was Sunday. Sunday looked the exact same. So it was just one of those things that was kind of.
Well, we made the right call. The right call was made. The weather just changed in that half hour. As the call was being made, the weather changed. So you saw the front come in. You saw some clouds come in. So you assume when they do come in, they're just going to drop rain. They didn't. They just moved on through. The very same thing they did last night. They just came in and moved on through. You don't know. But when we've got hundreds and hundreds of people that are on the field of all ages, that's the key part here, of all ages. You got vendors, performers, our staff. You err and you make the decision based on safety.
There's another thing we get concerned about too, Mayor, is the wind change. And it did change.
It did.
We were in conversation with Lawrence and his team right before we started firing. And I've actually, there was actually pieces of the shell that had landed in the parking lot over the paved area, off to the side from the hive and up in that area towards the graveyard, because the fallout is that far. You have to have 100 feet for every inch of shell. We have 3-inch shells, you need 300 feet diameter. So the wind, we're watching and looking at all kinds of things.
Well, that leads to the other issue too, was a lot of complaints about parking because of that circumference that you have to have for safety, because you never know where that wind's going to go. That wind could have come into the hive easily. So that's the reason why the parking lots were closed off, is because of safety of the shells. That was the other part too.
PA and OSHA type standards, it's not just Fire Marshal Bob.
Yeah, these are decisions not made by us. They're already standards that are in place. And the Parks and Rec staff has been working these events for a number of years. Both Megans have been working it along with the grounds crew. This is not an easy endeavor to pull off at all. It takes a tremendous amount of planning. Now, speaking of the date, this date was approved last year in August. It was discussed, it was presented to the former board, and it was approved last August. Just want to make sure that everybody's clear with that. So a lot of the complaints I hear is that people didn't know that it was going to be on Saturday. They thought it was going to be on the 4th. Then I hear about the cost. The same company, I'll do this. The same company that puts ours off is the same company that puts them off on Fort Bragg. Very same company. The difference is Fort Bragg has deeper pockets, and they have a wider area where they could pull off larger shells, right? Megan, am I right? So I asked the question this morning, and I attended the debrief at 10 o'clock this morning of the staff on Saturday night, which lasted well over an hour of excellent discussion and reflection about Saturday night. So I asked the question, are we at the maximum shell on our fireworks that we put off? And the answer is yes. We are at the maximum shell because of the area in which we're shooting them off. So the fireworks itself, $16,978.50. That's the cost for 20 minutes. Then also part of the kickoff celebration on Saturday is that we have to have entertainment. Then we have to have a stage for the entertainment to entertain from. The entertainment's $4,000. The stage is to rent that stage. Am I right to rent it? $7,800. $28,000. That's the actual cost. That's another thing that I want to debunk. There's been all kinds of estimates and prices, and those are the actual cost. And next year's budget in the line item is $30,000, because you never know about price increases. Now, this August, when we come back, the second meeting of August, actually, Parks and Rec will present, like they did last year, their recommendations for next July 4th. And the 2027 July 4th is on Saturday, July 3rd. The planning process from the debrief this morning is that the direction of the town will be to do the parade and the fireworks both on Saturday, July 3rd, with a rain date of July 4th, which is Sunday. That's the plan. I'm going to put it out tonight. We're going to talk about it again in August, and I guess I'm going to have to reference it every month until we get to July 2027, if that's what needs to happen. But that's the decisions that were made a year ago about about the date. So, if there are folks that have an interest or comment about the date, well, we'll be discussing it the second meeting in August, which is public comments. I'd love to hear from the community. I'd rather hear from the community in advance than some 400 messages that I've been reading, and that only include the ones that have told me. There's an old saying, I'm a country boy, as y'all know. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Well, that's what happened on Saturday night. We made a decision on public safety. That's what the decision was. Even though it was unpopular, even though the rains never came, nonetheless. All right, Charter Day. No, let's go to the parade. Megan? Let's talk about the parade. Let's talk about Saturday. Unless anybody's got any questions? Anybody else got any questions about Saturday night? All right.
Well, the parade will be at 10 a.m. Saturday, starting at the Hope Mills. We'll be leaving LA Priest right next to Town Hall. We'll be making a left and going down to Main Street and making that right. We do suggest that if you plan on attending and spectating the parade, that you kind of avoid Rockfish Road just because of the construction and the cones. We really highly recommend that you start your spectating where Carly Seas is and go all the way down Main Street. It's the biggest stretch of the parade. That's where we really are trying to funnel people to. Should be fun. It's going to be hot. We looked at the heat. It looks like at 10 a.m. it's going to be about 86 degrees. And at 11, by the time it should be ending, about 90. So we encourage people to stay hydrated, wear your sunscreen, drink your water. We're excited up for it. And yeah.
Another concern about the heat index, which we talked about today, about Saturday. So hopefully folks will hydrate, like you said, and take care of themselves, because it's going to be warm at 10. I mean, if this was an afternoon parade, it probably wouldn't happen. But that heat index is going to rapidly increase, and I think the parade should be finished around 11.
Mm-hmm.
Because how many entries?
About 45, give or take. Not including
Okay.
fire trucks.
About 45. I'm going. Are you in it? Yes? Yes? Okay. All right. I know Commissioner Marley's not going to be in it, and I don't believe Commissioner Mitchell will either, but I haven't confirmed that with him. I do know Commissioner Marley won't be. So that's a concern, too, was as we look forward to Saturday, that heat index is going to be rapidly increasing. So I just want to make sure that everybody understands, the concern that we have. And I don't want people getting sick out there on the road in that heat, watching our parade. It should be a nice parade. It usually is every 4th of July, and we'll have that on Saturday. Board have any questions about this one? No? Next. Nope, not done yet. Got Charter Day, which is next. Who's got Charter Day?
We don't have anything to do.
Nobody's got, Karen, come forward with Charter Day. Thank you. Megan, again, thanks for you and the team that worked on Saturday. Okay, what's the plan?
Well, as you know, Charter Day was originally in March, and we weren't able to coordinate and get everything done in a timely manner. So a cohort was formed between department heads and town manager, HPC chair. And so the original plan, or the plan is that we have a band coming from Southview, and they're supposed to play at least 5 songs. And this is going to be outside at the gazebo from 11 to 1. And we have the band coming, we have speakers, including yourself, including Sharon. Bobby is speaking about the town. Okay. But as we've been watching the weather too, and it's supposed to be the high of 101 heat index. And to have the band, which they have instruments that require electric and put off heat, and heat can also damage their equipment. And we're old, and we can't handle the heat either. So we were trying to find an alternative site, and we were hoping that the air conditioning unit was fixed in the chapel, because that would be an awesome place, because you have the altar, which is can double for a stage, and plenty of room to sit, and we would probably even get a bigger crowd. But the air conditioning is in the works of being fixed. They haven't received the compressor yet, and we don't know if we can have it ready by Saturday. So the other option was Parks and Rec, the large room. Of course, if the temperature goes up to 101, but that's what we're looking at. We want to really see if we can find an alternative space for public safety also, because that's hot. Especially those kids playing in the band, and they're supposed to play 5 songs.
So I understand this. I know the original plan was the gazebo at the lake, and that was after the end of the parade.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now we're looking at 11:15-ish, 11:30-ish. I mean, we're up to 45 entries. You never know. It can be an hour long or an hour and a half. And that heat index, because the chapel will not be ready. I don't think chapel will be ready, right, Chance?
No, we actually are actively talking to Parks and Rec. The Parks and Rec building was scheduled to be closed that day anyway, and so I don't have any issues, or I don't think or anticipate the community room won't be available.
Well, I talked to Mr. Morrison today also, and he had texted me back and said that the room is available, and it's been designated for our use if we need it.
So look for an announcement probably tomorrow. I do know that I talked to Karen about making sure that everyone is aware of the agenda for that day and everything too. We've been advertising the flyer and the manager's report, but now in light of this change, we'll make an announcement tomorrow. We just need to tweak a couple more things before we do.
Yeah. Okay. Can we get it on both marquees? Can we get it out to the marquees too? Because that's going to be a change. So, and then staffing, will there be staffing available?
That's the one piece. We're talking about part-time staff, so that'll be the conversation tomorrow before we finalize everything.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
And then
Do you have more questions for me?
No, I just want to, the road closure, it's going to be closed till what, 11:30? Because that'll be the other issue too. Is people won't be able to come to the rec center if the road's closed. Beth's pointing outside. I don't know what, she's pointing to a road. Okay. Yeah, the back way. Yep. You just had to say back way. Mayor Pro Tem said back way. I just want to make sure. Beth's pointing to the back way.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Karen. We got it. Unless the board's got any questions. Is any board members coming to the Charter Day? I know you're gonna be at the parade. You coming to Charter Day? Yes? Charter Day? I'll do my best. You, that's a yes, okay. So I got, yeah, 3 board members that'll be at Charter Day along with myself. Okay, any other, I hope we cleared up or at least addressed some of the concerns about the fireworks. That was the main emphasis of tonight and staff comments. Are there any other staff comments before we get to official? None? Everybody's good. Everybody wants to adjourn, I know. All right, official comments. I'll start with Commissioner Trimmel, and then I'm going to come down to you. Go ahead.
Good evening. Just want to thank the 2 Megans, Fire Marshal Bob, for all your hard work for Saturday. I appreciate all of you, anybody that had anything to do with it. Thank you so much for what you've done.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Hamilton.
Thank you, Mayor. I also want to echo what Commissioner Tremmel said about the fireworks. I also attended. I was actually there when Fire Marshal Bob talked to the mayor about the about the dangerous storms that were coming in and what he planned on doing. And I thought it was great that he did that for the safety of all the citizens that were there at the park. The other issue I want to talk about is what happened last Monday evening, or last Monday at the meeting. One of the things was the budget, and I'd like to kind of hit on some of those issues that were discussed. The first comment was made that this was the most indecisive and lazy board I've ever seen. Obviously, that's not true at all. I can't tell you how many hours were spent going over the budget, including many meetings that we had. Even one of the commissioners pointed their finger at me and said, "Don't look at the audience, think for yourself." I guarantee you that every single person that was involved in this budget thought for themselves without any outside, without speaking to anyone on the outside. The first budget that was presented to us was not balanced. It just wasn't. There were a lot of issues we found, so we all pretty much had to start the budget over again. There was a lot of discussions made, but there were no decisions that were made. So that's when the 3 of us decided that we were going to get together because we were running out of time and go over the budget. So we did. That was a Saturday. That Monday, when we went to the Board of Commissioners meeting, we put the results of our findings on the desk so that everyone could look at them. Granted, we didn't tell anybody, but it was our meeting. We decided to do that. As most of you already know, just from watching the meetings, we were met with cussing, demands, accusations, and being publicly criticized for attempting to do the right thing. Were the other members of this board meeting anywhere else other than the Board of Commissioners meeting? That's one of the questions that I have. To top it off, during the budget, the mayor discussed in open session what he had discovered that would more than likely impact our financial situation that we had no knowledge of and was kept from the board. So there were many things that caused a delay in preparing this budget, and none of them were because we were listening to our friends, as we have been accused of. To make a long story short, the budget was finally balanced after many meetings, many discussions, and many hours digging deep into a budget that was initially flawed to give the citizens a fair and balanced budget. And again, the budget that we received the first time, we were told it was balanced at 48 cents. It wasn't when we started looking at it. So we had a lot of work to do on that budget. That's what took the time. We had to have the budget presented to Ms. McLaurin by the 22nd of June, and we were running out of time. So we went ahead and took the initiative to go through the budget and find what we could find to try to clear things up. The second issue I'd like to talk about was what happened on the 22nd of June when we went into closed session. We went into the closed session to discuss land acquisitions and personnel. And of course, I can't go into the details of the closed session. We're not permitted to discuss personnel actions. During the closed session, it once again turned out to be another extremely loud verbal altercation by a board member. Commissioner Marley and Commissioner Grilly left the conference room. We finished the meeting and returned to the boardroom in which Commissioner Marley and Mitchell were not present. We went back into a discussion, approved the budget, and was finally able to adjourn the meeting. A former commissioner walked to the back of the boardroom after the meeting was adjourned and the cameras were off and looked at me and said very loudly, "You need to be effing banned from the post," meaning the VFW. I commented that person needed to watch their language. I was told I could kiss her behind, but she didn't say behind. This is the start of it. I had absolutely no knowledge of what had happened when Commissioner Marley and Commissioner Mitchell returned to the boardroom from the conference room, as we were still in closed session, but it didn't take long for the information to get to me. As soon as I returned home, I started receiving messages and phone calls about the incidents in the boardroom while we were in closed session. Since I wasn't present for the comments and accusations, I really can't comment, but I have no reason to doubt that what was said was true. The video I have backs up what was said, but again, I wasn't there to hear it. When I attempted to view the part of the meeting in which alleged accusations were made to a citizen in the boardroom, in which I was told was done by a town employee, commissioner, my phone, just a second, I lost my place, an elected official. I saw that the video had been cut exactly after the closed session was announced by Mayor Pro Tem and came back on when we returned to the boardroom. Granted, it's not required to video a meeting, but once it has been filmed, it becomes part of the open meeting and cannot be altered. It appears that the open meeting law has been violated. Fortunately, I was able to obtain a copy of the entire video when we were in closed session, which validates the issues that were brought to my attention. The point of all this is that meetings are aggressive towards certain members of the board. It feels threatening because of the aggressive nature of the incidents that have become a part of our meetings, to include closed sessions. I'm stating this for the record, that I have asked on more than one occasion, and the mayor has asked on more than one occasion, that this stop, but it continues without any kind of accountability or action taken. Next, I'm going to read a letter that was sent, an email that was sent to the board from Miss Megan Larson concerning the incident that happened on the 22nd. It's dated June 23rd, 2026, Mayor Jesse, and she addressed it to all of us on the board, to include the mayor. During last night's meeting, Commissioner Brian Marley and Commissioner Grilly Mitchell came out of your closed session loudly announcing what took place in closed session, pointing their fingers at me and saying that everyone could thank me for the decision, the 3-2 vote that determined Town Manager Chancellor McLaughlin's fate. I have known the town manager from the first day he was introduced to the public as the town's planner. It is also no secret that over the last decade, I felt his performance has been less than average as a planner and manager. He should never have been made the manager, as he doesn't meet the written qualifications that the town has set forth in writing. His disrespect to the public, the board, and staff has been beyond noted, even down to an audio recording of him speaking to his staff. Let's make this very clear. I am not on the board of elected officials for the town of Hope Mills. I do not work for the town of Hope Mills. I have attended 3 meetings since I decided not to run for a second term in 2019. I have never gotten up during public comments. I run a community page with several other administrators. Although I am the main administrator, it is unnatural the degree of bullying that is coming from the men that represent Hope Mills. I expect a written and public apology from Commissioner Marley and Commissioner Mitchell for their boisterous public accusations last night. I have no power to fire or make the decisions to not renew the manager's contract. I will not be the scapegoat for your inability to do your job. Firing an employee or unfunding positions is a difficult job, but it is what each and every one of you signed up to do as a voice of the people of Hope Mills, to protect the people, the town, and our tax money. Unfortunately, in my opinion, you failed to cut administrative positions that could have saved over $1 million and avoided a tax increase. Attorney Dan Hartzog, I have read and have copies of the letters of complaint on former Commissioner Elise Craver from Chief Dollinger, Town Manager McLaughlin, and Parks and Recreation Director Morrison. All 3 letters reference me, a citizen unaffiliated with any operation of this town. Now Commissioner Marley and Commissioner Mitchell have the audacity to come out of closed session and blame me for the decision that the board has made. This retaliatory behavior and retaliatory behavior and documented bullying needs to come to an end. I would appreciate it if you could explain to the board members what my legal case would look like if I chose to proceed. Also, because Commissioner Marley and Commissioner Mitchell left the meeting, the vote for the board budget needs to reflect their support of a 4.5-cent increase, as an unexcused absence reflects a yes vote. Sincerely, Meg Larson. This was given to us, like I said, the June 23rd, 2026, and she has asked that if we have any questions, that we could ask her, and she will answer the questions. So I'll leave it up to the board.
Okay. Does the board have any questions? None? Commissioner Trumbull? None?
I just have one,
Okay.
word was, because I wasn't out here. I mean, like I said, I heard about it later that evening. Was Commissioner Marley and Commissioner Grilly the only ones that commented to you? Would you like to come up to the podium, please?
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. No, you had, the finance director made a comment, and then someone who is not associated with the town.
Okay. That's the only question I have.
Did anyone from the board respond to your email?
Cynthia sent me a response just saying that she had read my email.
And so did I.
Yes, and you.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you didn't get an official response from
No.
anyone? Okay. Okay. Anything else?
I will say the incident only lasted, a split second, as you can see on the, I was sitting in the seat that I'm sitting in right now. It was a matter of them coming and sitting in their seats for a few minutes and then leaving. And when they were doing their accusations, that was when the woman that does not have anything to do with the town, staff, said something, and then the finance director chimed in, whom I've never met or spoken to, ever.
Okay. Board, I'm suspending the rules to allow her to answer this question based on this letter that she sent. So that's why she's speaking. Okay.
I just have one more question. Are you still expecting a public apology?
I mean, that's really up to the board, what they want, where you all want to take it, and that will decide where I take it.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think it's accurate for someone to come out and, I mean, obviously, I don't have any say in what you all decided, whether I agree with it or not. I mean.
That's the reason why I asked you the question. If you had, if any board member had replied.
Acknowledge that they received the letter. That was it, but nothing in reference to the substance of the letter, no.
Okay. Anything else?
That's all I have.
We thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Is that all you have under official comments?
That's all I've got. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. All right. Mayor Pro Tem? Oh, let's don't forget about you, didn't you?
Good evening, everybody. All those that are streaming, I hope you had a good weekend. Unfortunately, I was not there to see the fireworks. I was away. But I look forward to the parade on Saturday and Charter Day and to hear the bands. And thank you to everyone for all the work that you've put in for the upcoming events for the town.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I'd like to thank the staff again for Saturday. Police Department, Fire Department, Parks and Rec Department, all were out there. I mean, I'm going to tell you, the grounds were completely safe because there was a lot of patrol officers out there to ensure that that the grounds were safe, and the police and the fire department also had fire trucks on site just in case something happened with the fireworks. Because Bobby's right, the fire marshal is correct. You never know what a wind's going to do. You don't know. You don't know what the weather's going to be like, so you always want to prepare for the worst. I had a citizen on Saturday tell me something. that we've been so busy putting out fires, we haven't built any bridges. I am not kidding you. Our meetings are not only observed in the community, but our meetings are watched by a tremendous amount of people, and word gets around rapidly about what we're doing. So tonight will be our last meeting until August 3rd, unless there is a time-sensitive issue that requires a special meeting in July. I do not anticipate us meeting at all in July. Commissioner Hamilton had it right. This budget was a challenge from many different aspects, but it was also a learning process too. Even though I've been on this board several terms as a commissioner, and in year 3 as a mayor, I learned a good bit about this budget too. I really did. I picked up some great insight going forward. So when we come back in August, we're not waiting to January, and the staff knows this. We're not waiting to January to start the budget. That is not this plan. We're going to pick up where we left off, and we're looking at the next budget beginning in August in different areas. We have the right finance director here to navigate that course. That's the challenge that we have. We're not going to wait till January. Last thing I want to say is that sometime over the next 3 days, I do anticipate the General Assembly passing a budget. It looks like they're in draft mode today. Of course, everyone knows it takes about 3 days to do it, because you got to have 3 different readings. You got to have the first one, the second one, and then the third one. But when they start with the draft, that leads to the first reading of the budget, and hopefully by the end of the week, our great state will have a budget. I'll also like to share with the board is that there may be an opportunity for some community funding projects. Our local delegation has been very active in pursuing state funding for some community projects. So we're still in the game. We're not going to get a whole lot of money, but whatever we do get, we gave them the priority. We had to do that on a very short notice. Chancellor, I think, an hour or 2 hours, we had to put something together, and
I think it was about 30 minutes.
we had to rapidly, he was in, Representative, to tell you the story, Representative Jackson, District 45, our representative, called me and said, I really need something really quick on a snap finger. And so I had to get Ashley to go get Chancellor. He was in plan review. This was Thursday morning. He was in plan review. So I had to get him out of plan review so we could put something together to shoot up to her LA that she can introduce and put into the budget for us, along with the delegation. And that happened on Thursday with about 30 minutes. Then there was some follow-up that came back. That's exactly how it's done. You got to be ready when the phone rings. You got to be ready to go. And we've had priorities ready to go. And we submitted our priority, and I wanted to share that with the board tonight, that I think we're still in a favorable position where we can obtain something for the community. So the entire delegation was behind that, and they're going to push it. Of course, it's all about, in the end, what the budget's going to be approved by the General Assembly. I think in July we have a couple ribbon cuttings. I know the first one, Chancellor, is on the 7th.
Yes, that's off of Trey Street, and then we'll be putting announcements out. I just did the one for the 15th for the new Target. But if you're done announcements, I do have a huge announcement that I want our police chief to come up to the podium, Mr. Dollinger, to let the general public know about something that we were able to accomplish today.
Been holding back, Chief?
No, I didn't realize. We got all of our data from the sheriff's office, thanks to Sheriff Morgan. So everything. So we're all good to go. So we'll be putting it on our server and be able to access it very soon. But Sheriff Morgan made that happen, and so we're 100% now.
That is big news, Chief. That is really great. Thank you for sharing that. Chance, you got anything else? Did we miss anything for July?
That's about it. Anything else? We'll send out the announcement for Charter Day tomorrow. Like I said, the 2 ribbon cuts on the 7th and the 15th. The 15th is big. It's pretty big. It's probably the largest commercial development in the history of the town. But anything else, we'll make sure that we at least overload with announcements, being that we don't have board meetings coming up.
And this is the Target ground break on the 15th. I think it's what, 9, 10? 9.
9:30, I think. Hold on. I have the flyer right here. Yeah, 9 a.m. Wednesday, July 15th. I did send out all the invitations to the delegation today. Just about everybody, Cumberland County leadership, all of our plan review, all our staff, our delegation in Raleigh. But it is, if you look at the email I sent, there's a site map because it's so big, it's not currently addressed. The roadways are identified in GIS, but they don't exist as they're still putting in the infrastructure. But I can say that Target did start with the foundation in terms of the foundation of the development last week. And so we're having conversations even about how to get electricity out there because they're getting, they want our podium, but they're providing the microphones and things of that nature. So it is something that's pretty big. We're asking for the general public to come out and celebrate with us.
It's been an excellent relationship with the Target folks. We've met with them here several times to work out some issues on the site, and they have been very, very appreciative. In fact, greatly appreciative of the staff support that we have given them throughout the duration of this entire project. And in fact, our last meeting that we had was a joint meeting that cleared up a lot of local issues. And that's how you do it. It's all through collaboration and partnerships and bringing everybody together at the table. And that's one of the highlights of how Target is ahead of schedule, I think, slightly. If the weather holds, they're ahead of schedule a little bit. So this really is going to be a huge ground break. It's a huge deal for Hope Mills because, like I said, for the Wawa Travel Center, Target could have picked anywhere to put that. They chose us. Wawa Travel Center, they chose us too. And there's a reason why corporation companies of this magnitude, they're choosing us. Actually, the last thing is probably notice that because I'm sure we'll have a quorum. I'm quite positive we will have a quorum, so ensure that that's noticed properly. I know that you will. That's all I have. It's almost, in fact, we have 1 minute before it's 7. Shortest Monday night meeting we've had this month. It is. We appreciate everyone staying the course with us. We know that it's been a long month. It's been a lot of meetings, but we greatly appreciate it. And if nothing else happens, we'll see everybody back August 3rd. Any final comments? Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second? Second. All in favor? We are adjourned until August 3rd.